That was a band called the Amphetamines, and I shall spell it because I'll give you out their website. I don't know if you can buy that in the shops. The track is called Say Something Special, and it's amphetamine, as in amphetamine, and meanies, as in meanies, one word. The website is www.amphetamines.co.uk if you're interested in purchasing that record, which you should be, because it's very good. And another one, DJ Segway, that you should buy is Nothing But the Real Thing, the Kenny Lynch compilation, which I just love, Kenny.
Thank you very much.
And thanks for coming.
You're biased. You've always been biased with me.
Well, I'm a fan, and that's why, of course, I love the album of the stuff that I'm a fan of. That makes some sense.
Anyway, Happy New Year to the both of you.
You're looking great. Have you been working out?
No, I haven't. I was in the...
Have a skinful last night, one of those.
I was in the 5-all shoes last night, down at Russell's Water, and I got ratty.
Right, OK. I thought you must be, because that pub's actually called the 3 Horseshoes. That's how double he was seen. I was going to go for the 2.5, but I didn't think it would work. I was mentioning earlier on in the show that you're sort of, to me, you're very much an unsung hero of 60s music. And Mark was saying, yeah, a lot of people would see you, that they would know you from other things. But you had such an amazing career. You're going to write an autobiography?
Oh, yes, I'm thinking about it now.
You've got to, because it's like every time I find out an extra bit of your career, I think, oh, that's amazing. What, he was like a jazz man with Tony Crombie in the 50s.
Well, people have asked me to do an autobiography. The only trouble is most of the people I know are still alive.
Ah, so right, you're waiting until they pop off and you can say what they want.
Off, but the way I'm going, I think I might go first.
just from the way you're feeling this morning.
No, I was in 5 o'clock this morning, nice and early. I closed
really?
my eyes, yes, and the phone rang, and it was the chauffeur.
Got in at 5?
Got in at 5.
Oh,
yeah.
that really makes us look pitiful.
Why? What did you do?
I woke up at 6. That's terrible.
What did you do? Yeah, but you were working early. That's a different thing. And what did you do, Mark?
Well, no,
what time did you get to bed?
Well, about 12.
God, what a wimps you get on these
I
shows.
know.
Rubbish.
Well, it's shocking. Well, you've been rock and roll
Joanna
since
Lumley
day
next
one.
year. And Ray Charles. I want Joanna Lumley and Ray Charles next year on the show if I do it next year.
Well, I would like that too. No, do you think if my dream list would have been you two? Of course I would rather have Ray Charles and Joanna Lumley here. You were always available on New Year's Day.
That's true. Ray's not available, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately. Actually, I will play some proper Ray Charles later on, not just his cokeheads. But tell us a bit about that sort of start of your career, because when you were like a jazz man in the 50s, before you were doing your soul stuff in the 60s and whatever, was that like your life, or was it just? I was about 10, and somebody asked me to sing for them because my cousin said I sang, and I did get up on stage. And I started to work. I used to go to Archer Street, where everybody used to go years ago, and you stood on the corner, and people used to come up to you and say, "Oh, I hear you're a singer. Do you want to work with it?" And I sang with all kinds of like Ted Heath, Harry Golden, these pieces of every night I was singing a different kind of music, and it was a great schooling for me in the end. Oh, so when you were doing like stuff with Ted Heath and Harry Golden, that would have been more like big band sort of swinging
kind of stuff.
Actually,
then I started singing. All the boys introduced each other. The boys in the band introduced each other to different bands and all that. And I started singing with people like Ronnie Scott and Tubby Hayes and the kind of music that I really loved.
Sort of more modernist, jazz and stuff.
And then I spot you doing one type and say you can do this, or was that?
No. I mean, I was working one night. I mean, when you go down Archer Street on Monday morning, and band leaders will come and say, "I need a singer. Are you working on Thursday?" Another one to say you're working on. So you had like 3 or 4 jobs a week sometimes. But they were horrendous because there was no motorways in those days or anything.
So it's all over the country, not just.
Yes. It was like this was pro as well. It was. I started off as a semi-pro band singer, which was just amateurs who sang in town halls on Saturdays and Sundays, or Friday nights. But then I went pro, and was singing all these different kinds of music. But I decided in the end that I would like to just sing jazz. And then Tommy Steele said to me, "If you stop singing that clever stuff," he said to me, he said, "you might make some money." And I thought, well, I was about 21 by then. I thought, well, that's not a bad idea. So I did.
That's very demeaning of Tommy Steele, though. Clever.
No, he was absolutely right. I mean, saying to me, sing pop songs and all that, and you'll make some dough.
Someone told me a story the other day that there was a bar in New York, and it was St Patrick's Day, I think, and there was football on or something, and Liam Gallagher and Kenneth Branagh happened to be in this bar. And Liam Gallagher walked up to Kenneth Branagh. "I know you, don't I know you." "I don't know, maybe you do, whatever." And he walks off and he walks back and he went, "Oh, I know, it's you, isn't it? Speaky.
which does sort of sum off Kenneth Branagh, but it's so demeaning. Don't do the clever stuff. It's you, speaky. It does sum them both up, actually, doesn't it? Anyway, I want to play a track from this. It's just a brilliant compilation. On my 60s show, which will be on later on today, I've had the competition in the past, and I do think from track 1 to track 24 on the CD, it's like a great compilation of sort of the various movements in 60s pop.
Well, when they sent me the
all
album,
the bases
there were
are
songs
covered.
on there I didn't even remember. And some of them I'd written. I didn't actually remember. And there were so many songs on it. I mean, you've got to go away for a week's holiday to listen to it.
But you're in the Five Horseshoes, that's why you don't remember. Anyway, this is one of my favourites. This is called For Loving You Baby. Kenny Lynch with For Loving You Baby from the album Nothing But The Real Thing, which is in the shops now. Not all of them. Some will have sold out, some won't have had it in the first place.
That's
but,
true.
you know, if you're looking for it, that's the name of the album. And it, like I said, just a complete history of 60s pop styles. There's like Beatles-style things on there, there's like Stone-style things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of your own style, which obviously you wrote that track.
So you're saying you don't
most of
listen
the
to
others.
that anymore?
No, I don't. What I do is that I don't make so many records as I used to. I do jazz records, albums now, but
Clever stuff. You do.
clever stuff. Yeah, speaky.
Screw you, Tommy Steele.
And I listened to them for about 3 weeks. And I don't know why I do that, because I can't change them anyway by then. And then once I've heard it for a few times, I've probably got one. I'll be very surprised if I've got one record. In fact, the only music I've got in my house of my own is what Mark sent me last year when he said, "Oh, I love this song of yours. I'll send it to you," and he did.
Well, there's one called Moving Away, which Kenny didn't know, which in Jamaica, it's like a standard. Everyone has recorded a version of Moving Away, and he didn't. And they all claim ownership that they've written it. But Kenny wrote it, and it's just a bizarre thing that he didn't know, that if he went to Jamaica, everyone would know this song. Which wasn't. I don't.
Well,
think
you sent me 4 or 5 versions.
I don't think it
dub
was a hit
versions and all
I don't think it was a hit in the UK, was it?
No, it was
Yeah.
number one by some Chinese guy, funny enough, in New Zealand.
Oh, right.
Yes,
I bet you haven't got
sold
that.
about 7,000 copies, and you told me that it cost a fortune up there to buy it in Manchester.
Well, nowadays, because the Souls things he was doing just go for an absolute fortune, because no one bought them in the first place.
absolutely.
There aren't many copies around. In fact, it's probably easier to find the Chinese version that was a big hit in New Zealand than Kenny's own version.
So how did you fit into the early 60s scene when reggae started to become popular and the ska and all that then? Did you have any connection with that?
No, not really. I mean, every time somebody's doing some kind of music, if I can't do it, I stick to my own stuff and hope the people are going to come and see that, that want to hear my kind of stuff. But I love reggae and I love soul
I'm
and all
surprised that you you were saying you only listen to jazz, because it's the soul you did is so authentic. It's proper soul, and like I said, Kenny was writing for like the Drifters and Dusty Springfield, and you don't get bigger soul names than that. And I just would have had you down as a soul man.
Well, no, I am incredibly. But I mean, most of the time, if I'm in the car, I'm listening to Miles Davis and sort of Freddie Hubbard. I like trumpet players and Gillespie and all that sort of Stan Getz, and that's what I like to listen to. But sometimes I put on a few Sinatras, and a lot of times I put on a lot of Aretha, and I even put on Earth, Wind and Fire, that kind of stuff. And I love Stevie, that sort of stuff. So,
and you must have, because when you went to New York, didn't you, as a writer for a while?
Yeah.
And you must have met them all along the way.
Well, most of the writers. I worked in the Brill Building for 4 years.
Isn't it? Who would know that? That's just unbelievable.
Well, I was writing songs there. I mean, at the time it didn't. And now it seems important to me because it was such a great building for the music came out of. And there was Burt Becker right there, Carole King, Bobby Darin, Liebenstein.
And they were just in like adjoining offices.
We all had little rooms. We all had these little rooms with pianos in.
But even at the time, you must have gone, well, hold on, this is the whole top 20 is in this building. That must have been exciting.
Oh, I was the only one that was unknown then. I was completely thrilled about it. But it didn't seem to make any, because I was, getting a bit more famous by the minute, and it didn't make any difference to me. But when I first week I went down and the guy called Paul Case, he's dead now, God rest his soul, he used to take me around and meet all these writers, and I used to stop sometimes and write with them. And they'd say, what do you do? Can you do some lyrics for us? I say, yeah, do whatever you like. It was great working with them. But now I feel it's more important to me than it was then.
And was it like office hours? Would you get up and
we
went
in about 11. And when I was there a week before I started partnered up with Mort Schumann because Doc Pomus was very ill. And Mort was a bit of he used to like to put himself about more. He'd leave every Friday afternoon for the Virgin Islands or Jamaica or somewhere. So we used to go to the Virgin Islands on Friday afternoon, come back Monday, and then 10 o'clock every day we'd go in and write till about 5, and then we'd go out and do our thing.
God, it just seems because to me it's a magical thing when someone writes a song. I go on about it far too much on the radio. I know. I don't understand how it's possible, but to sit there with a pen and paper and just go, right, we'll knock one off today.
So there must have been days when you'd written a song that then would be known ever since then. That would been known as a brilliant song. And there have been days when you'd written a song like that and then just gone off and gone, oh, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean, the amount
It's not a Furlian.
you throw so many more away than you have. I mean, sometimes you sit there for a week. Other times, you can do it in 5 minutes.
Let me see. Oh, you didn't write this one. This is a shame because I like this one. But you wrote the last one. I like that as well. This is your version of Bobby Goldsborough's song, It's Too Late, which I think is one of your finest moments from that period. You're listening to Mark Lamarr here, sitting in for Jonathan Ross this week and next week. And at the moment, I've got Mark Steele in the studio with me, Kenny Lynch, and still to come, Dale Winton, who's definitely on his way, and Glenn Tilbrook will be in the studio. 88 to 91 FM, it's Radio 2 from the BBC. You're listening to Mark Lamarr, sitting in for Jonathan Ross here on Radio 2. Kenny Lynch and Mark Steele with me, and that was Kenny with... hold on, I'm looking at the wrong CD. That was Ray Charles with...
Thank you. Thanks very much.
I just thought that would be my little New Year's gift to you. Yeah. That was Kenny Lynch with I Don't Need No Doctor from the album The Definitive Ray Charles. Well done there, Kenny. We were just discussing, we've both seen that film, the film Ray, the biopic of Ray Charles, and I thought it was okay. I thought Jamie Foxx was just astonishing as Ray Charles, and I thought everything about it was sort of astonishing, and yet I didn't find it astonishing.
He's a great piano player, apparently, and he's in his own right, the guy. But...
Well, he actually, when he sort of, I don't know I think he already had the part, but he had to meet with Ray Charles, and Ray Charles said, come on, play me piano. And he sat down and played, and Ray Charles went, yeah, you can play me. Which is really nice, isn't it? That's about the ultimate compliment you could possibly get. And it's an incredible performance, but it's sort of, I found it a bit pointless. You can watch a documentary and see all that stuff. And I think Ray Charles does the voice in it as well.
Yeah, he's done it anyway. all new tracks, apparently.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's sort of amazing to watch, just to see that, I don't know, that something done that closely and that well.
It becomes like a tribute act.
Yeah, it sort of was, yeah. And I mean, as a stupid Ray Charles fan, I sort of knew all the stories. I was watching it going, oh, this is the bit where he does this, where he puts all the Raelettes out of the studio and says, I'll do all the harmonies myself.
Sometimes, though, you have to think, well, maybe it's not for people like you.
I don't think it probably is. And I didn't watch it as like a purist, like, oh, they've got that wrong. I did a little bit, of course. But generally, I just sort of thought, yeah, I mean, I know all this, and it's
but the music
very well done.
I thought the music was great.
It's Ray Charles, you can't go wrong.
Absolutely.
I remember sort of after the Chaplin film come out, loads of people saying to me, oh, God, I didn't know all this about Chaplin, and I found it really irritating, the Charlie Chaplin films. I thought, I'm just thinking, but it missed out so much. But, maybe you should just go, well...
There was that. Was it Melanie Griffiths, the American actress who was doing... Melanie Griffiths was in a film, something to do with the Holocaust, and she said, because I didn't know all this had happened. I think it was, and if it wasn't her, I apologise to her memory.
I think you're right.
And she said something like, I really didn't pay much attention to history in school. I didn't know 6 million were killed.
Oh, God.
So I would be more annoyed by that than people not knowing the Chaplin.
Absolutely.
Even more stupid than that, Kate Winslet, who played Iris Murdoch, she said, see if I can get this exactly right, she said afterwards, yes, I mean, the amazing thing was that Iris Murdoch did write these fantastic books. Not that I've read any of them, because you just don't get the time to when you're doing my job.
Oh,
and she played her in the film.
Playing this woman. Oh. I'm not sure if that is more stupid than not knowing about the Holocaust, but it's certainly on a par. And who's going to play you in the film, Kenny? Can I play you?
Yes, you can.
Oh, right, then.
You can. You have to be a bit smaller, though.
I'd have to also play you in your later years as well.
Yes, exactly, yes.
How did you jump then from being this, the second jump from being a soul singer to the sort of way that most people would know you as being someone who's on the telly?
Funny enough, it was through a guy called Harry Fowler, who said to me, Kenny, if you come into this game, do everything. He said, don't just sing, you try to act, try to do bits of comedy and all that. And that's what I did. It kept me working all the time. I mean, if somebody said to me I'd still be a so-called celebrity in 2005, I'd have said, you're having a laugh then, you know what I mean? That's
did you see it as like, because a lot of people, some people get into whatever this business is with, very purist ideals of what they're going to be, and others are like, well, this seems like a good, and you seem to be like a person who's like,
I had
I'll
no
do that,
intention whatsoever doing it. I made a record because the woman who got me down to HMV told me, she said, you should make records. I was singing in a club called Romano's in Gerrard Street, and I thought, in those days we had parties every Saturday, and all the birds used to put all the records on, Nat King Cole and Frankie Lane and Johnny Ray and all that, and they all used to go gooey when they listened to it. And I thought, if I make a record, they might go gooey over me. That was my whole purpose of making a record.
That's your career plan.
It was absolutely. I didn't want to go any further than that. I thought that's perfect for me.
And is it still the same when you were doing curry and chips? Were you thinking, I might get birds going gooey?
Yeah, all round the 5 horseshoes.
Might be
You'll be able to walk on the floor for goo.
I don't think there's any difference now. I mean, I just do everything day to day. I never ever worried about the future or anything.
No, you seem like you're living the dream.
Absolutely.
But the dream is to be drunk in the 5 horseshoes surrounded by gooey women, which is fair enough.
And that's because you're not clever.
So yeah, someone's got to do it.
Tommy still took his own advice. He was playing with John Coltrane for years. Then he thought, sod this, half a sixpence. Look at him then.
I mean, Kenny, he's singy, he's jokey. He's not caring where it is. Well, this is a track. If there are any birds out there listening, this will get you gooey. This is one of my favourites of your songs, and it's called Moving Away.
So, Kenny, just enlighten us there.
Sorry, that was Moving Away by Ray Charles.
Singing in the background.
No, I said I think Dusty Springfield might have been singing in the background there, because we used to go into the studio. I used to go and do a lot of her backings for her and all that. And I'd go and do a bit sometimes with Scylla or somebody. I mean, if we were
was
in
there just like a
neighbourhood.
great big singer's house?
It was. It was. No, the best place for everybody to meet was.
I'll get the Temptations to do it. They're in the garden.
The best place to meet everybody and know about what sessions were going on was in I forget his name now. The throat specialist in Wigmore Street. And I used to go in there and I'd sit down and be walking through the door, and there'd be Dusty and Tom Jones and everybody sitting down there, all just waiting to have their throat sprayed. And the guy used to do anything, just to say, I'll spray your throat, charge you 15 quid, send you out of the room and say, don't talk. That was it. I said, I can do this. And he was more interested in the guy rather than doing your throat and telling he was also, he used to do opera singers and everything, and he used to say, you see this watch? And he'd show you his watch and he'd say, Frank Sinatra gave me that. And he'd say, you see that ashtray that's Geely gave me that. I mean, that's how he used to do it. He's like, never mind about that. Get me, I've got to go and sing.
But I don't know about you, mate. If I lived to be 500 and achieved, if I cured cancer, you know, if I had all sorts of phenomenal achievements in life, if Dusty Springfield backed me ever, I would not be able to walk into a room and go, guess what, Dusty Springfield wants to back me on a record. And Kenny's just like, I think it was there going on the way.
I mean, that's what they used to do. Everyone used to go around to different sessions, and if somebody say, I'm doing a session, like, you have a drink later, so you go to the session, pick them up, then if you thought of something, you'd say, there's a good phrase could go in there and all that.
So she was with the Mike Sam singers, you say?
No, the Mike Sam singers are the backing on that, I think.
Yeah, but people would all take that.
But they might not have been there. We just put them on and then.
So it's a funny generation thing, because I'm just slightly too young to have known them as being backing on that sort of. All I know the Mike Sam singers for is Sing Something Simple.
Yeah, well, that's what they used to do.
Which is horrible. Now that's just Sunday night.
But they've got all the sessions. I mean, you should hear them. They haven't put it on there, thank God, that we did. What's that? Really heavy soul song, and I had the Mike Sam singers, and it sounded like sort of Father Christmas, and it was just so stupid to put them on there because they didn't sing like that. They could get away with that kind of stuff because we just echo them up and pull out the thing.
Oh no, it was awful because it was Sunday night and it just sort of oh god.
Oh, Shop Around. You heard that song, Shop Around?
Yeah.
My mama said, yes, before, and again, shop around, shop around.
You really should shop around.
But it wasn't their fault. I mean, just Wally Ridley got them in to do this, and it didn't work at all. So that
someone had said to him, the trouble is you're being too clever.
Yes.
Singy.
Singy.
Singy, Sunday night.
He's got to write this book. Look, here's just another facet. That apart from writing Sha-La-La-La Lee, which is probably not, lyrically the most exciting song of all time, producing the Small Faces as well. Like, have you noticed every time I do a sentence about something Kenny's done, Mark does this like, no,
because it's Small Faces, but but that is. I think the remarkable thing is, Kenny, that
was sort of a link into I was going to play this Small Faces record.
Eh?
It was sort of a link that into I'm going to back to play.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do that again. Do it again.
I mean, it's amazing. He even produced the Small Faces, which reminds me.
Did you really?
Here's a track that he also wrote for them. You better believe it. Yes.
But I think what most people are really amazed about, Kenny, is that you've done.
That would have worked so beautifully if you'd come off the end of the record rather than waiting for a minute or two. God, we rehearsed this show.
He didn't go to bed till 12.
We get in at 4 and we rehearse the links, and I say, and then do this when you come on. And he's just stood behind, opening the door. He's chatting with Tony Benn. I'm trying to get some radio excellence on the go. What we saying, Mark?
But we have also rehearsed this bit.
Hold on, let me.
Got you in a
He's just saying your time is a bit off. That's all he's saying.
There you go. There's the end of the song. I just played it again. Oh, Nelly. Are you in today? Are you in?
Go on, you do
This is
it.
clever.
Well, I don't know what you were going to say. How could I do it?
Well, I don't know what I was going to say. You just talk drivel. We've just got to fill the time.
You were
between
saying something, and I said, say that at the end of the record, and then you didn't. And now you want me to say it. I don't know what it is.
That's a bloody long record.
This is nice. This is our first bicker of the year. 21 minutes past
them.
11.
On Christmas evening at about
What? No, say
9
this.
o'clock.
You're more than happy. I'm happy for you to say this, but not when Kenny's here. We should be talking about Kenny.
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
I'm
interested
Go on,
in
go on,
his
no, go on.
opinion.
Say it. Go on, say it.
Don't forget the Chelsea match starts.
Guess, like, where would you stand on this issue? But
Yes.
9 o'clock Christmas evening, the phone rings, and it's Mark, and he's at a Christmas dinner somewhere, some sort of party, and he's having an argument. And he says to me, tell me that I'm right here. You know, clearly there's someone in the background going, oh, tell him he's wrong, or whatever. And Mark says, a British Prime Minister can't stand for more than 3 terms, Kenny.
That's
Constitutionally, legally.
That's wrong.
It is wrong,
He
yeah.
can stand as long as he likes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, the brilliant thing about
There
him,
you
and
are.
I do admire him for this, is that although I said
I only
no,
stood for 3 terms myself, mind you.
Only for 3 rounds.
Yes.
I said, well, no, that's not right. And the brilliant thing, I do admire Mark for this, is that then he said, well, you know, you've just cost me 20 quid in this bet. And he did actually make me feel guilty for knowing the right answer. I felt it ruined me Christmas.
Yeah,
For the next 3 days, I thought, oh, I'm a pig,
How
really,
dare
telling
I?
him that.
But have you noticed how what our relationship is, Kenny? Mark messes up part of the show, and then says, and you know what? On Christmas Day, Mark got something wrong.
It's what they used to
Somehow
call
it was
ringing.
my fault.
Ringing. It's a ringer. You ring it onto somebody else, as they say.
Right, yeah, no, that's
All
right.
right,
We
He's
both
the
do it
ringer.
to
Mark
each
the
other.
ringer.
I'm displacing my own guilt through denial.
Well, also, I want to thank you because I'd actually said 2 terms. But anyway, right, we've got it back now. We're back in. We've got some spirit. We've got some movement in the room. What are you going to say to Kenny? There you
The
go.
amazing thing is that there's
Edit this out.
a load of people. There's a great many people who would be astonished that you'd sort of taken part in it, that you had a singing career at all, because it's the reverse way round from how a lot of people did it. That were television sort of stars in the 60s and 70s. That
That's a
people
good
became
point.
television stars.
If you'd made it 5 minutes
and then
ago,
they
it would
went
have been a great
on
point.
to do not very good a not very good singing career on the back of that. And you did a very excellent singing career that stood on its own
2
terms,
feet.
and then went into television. That was the point I was going to make.
Yes, but I did that because I like doing different things. And when, you know, Harry Farley, he just said to me one day, he said, don't just do one thing, as I said before. He said, try everything. And I like doing that. I mean, I like to be, I call myself a field worker. I like to get out there in the field and do it. Whatever it is, just have a crack at it. You know, I mean, some of the things I tried, I wasn't very good at, you know, so I give it the elbow.
Oh, what did you try then?
Well, I mean, like serious acting and all that.
Ski jumping.
Ski jumping, I'm quite good at. As long as I'm about 2 foot.
Kenny the Eagle.
Kenny the Eagle, yeah. I'd be worse than him. I'll go 5 inches or something.
Well, anyway, I want to recommend the album again. It's just fantastic. Nothing But the Real Thing by Kenny Lynch, which is 24 tracks from, 62 to 68 from Kenny's very, very fine recording career throughout the 60s. And I'm going to finish on a track, which is, I mean, a lot of it, what I was saying about it's like a history of music in the 60s, because a lot of it, there's obviously a style that was prevalent at the time, and you're like, I'll have a crack at that one.
Yeah, oh, we do that all the time. I mean, some of the stuff, a lot of the stuff on there is based on some of the Chuck Berry, even. You know, I mean, the people that I liked. I mean, that Moving Away is basically loosely based on the Righteous Brothers. I couldn't make a song that good, but you know, I wanted to get in that kind of style because I liked that thing. And when I was in New York, I used to see the Righteous Brothers a lot and all that. And they played.
I would be walking into rooms. I just saw the Righteous Brothers in New York.
and you know, when I heard this record. First time moving away, I'd say. What was the last one called? Loving Feeling. I just thought it was the most incredible thing I'd ever heard. But you know, Phil Spector was coming out with an incredible record every week. Then
I would be on a tour this afternoon and every Saturday, just going into weddings. And when it's the best man speech, I'll be going, You don't know me, but Dusty Springfield backed me up. I used to knock about with the Righteous Brothers. Anyway, this is thanks a lot for coming in, Kenny. And I know it can't have been any fun for you because we had our first New Year bicker. And even though Mark's looking great, I think
it's nice to listen to two intellectuals anyway.
When will you have your next trip down the Horseshoes then?
Now, was that not a
I'll be
link
back
into
there
thanks
today.
for coming? Was that not quite patently a link? Thanks for coming in, Kenny. So when are you going back up the pub?
Well, he obviously likes a pub like
Just because
myself,
I was
you know.
wrong on Christmas Day, he thinks he's going to whip me about now.
I know, but that's almost...
What, boy? What?
But what you said about the Prime Minister is almost as bad as that about the Holocaust, really, if you think about
It's
it.
not. No, it's
is,
not nearly
it
as
is.
bad.
So
It's
it
not.
is.
Look, I'll hold my hands up. I was completely wrong, but that was on my own time.
You were probably completely pie-eyed as
I
well.
was wrong on my own. I wasn't. I
The
don't.
guests are backing me up in their bickers.
I know lots of times that I've been out with you and you talk about Prime Ministers. Yeah.
I'm
We've had
right.
plenty of fun talking about the Prime
I
Minister.
really should look into it before I open my mouth. I'll admit I was wrong, but you know what, Mark? I was wrong on my own time, not with the great British public out there listening, wanting some fine Saturday morning chit-chat. I do one of the most incredibly timed links into a record.
Well, let's do it again.
There's another thing. No, there's not another thing.
I think he's messing up here and blaming it on us.
I know, I'm completely accept
sure?
I was wrong on that point, but I think I should be allowed to carry on with my life. That's fair, isn't it?
Yeah.
Go on, let's do it again then.
It already cost me 20 quid.
Let's do it again.
Anyway, the album's called Knowing About the Real Thing, and Kenny and Thanks and all of that business. And, well, that was sort of where I finished there. Thanks a lot for coming in. And what I was saying was it couldn't have been easy because Kenny was up till 5 this morning. And that was sort of where
You
I
going up the
was.
football later, Kenny?
This is
No,
a
I'm
track
gonna
called
see
Harlem
them watch
Library
Chelsea.
from that album. I'm leaving the mics on all the way through it as well.
Oh, good.
Go on,
This is
tell
the
me
one
off about Prime Ministers.
I said no smoking.
Oh, right, I got it wrong.
Robert
Certainly got it wrong.
You've got things wrong in the past.
Can't you see
Aretha
that
Franklin
nobody's
did do a
never
coke ad.